ERNEST Bigot here, and I want to explore some of the pathways that our black countrymen are taking in a way that would make my great-great-grandpappy, Nathan Bedford Forrest, proud of the direction that America is headed. I want to mirror the speech as Mr. Bedford Forrest would.
Whites are psychopaths, and their behavior represents an underlying biologically transmitted proclivity with roots deep in their evolutionary history.
Blacks are psychopaths, and their behavior represents a biologically transmitted proclivity with roots deep in their evolutionary history.
How many of you could see the proclivity that evolved deep within the evolutionary history of whiteness by show of hands? How many of you could see it?
How many of you can see the proclivity that evolved deep in the evolutionary history of blackness? Raise your hands if you can see it. Just raise your hands right over there.
Some people are sitting here, oh no, I don't want to raise my hand. That's called denial.
People are sitting here, oh no, I don't want to raise my hand. Well, that's called denial.
There's no discussion about the delusion and the perversion of whiteness.
There's no discussion about the delusion and perversion of blackness.
Say this with me. Rape culture in America is a legal, economic, and moral institution.
Say this with me. Rape culture in America is a legal, economic, and moral institution.
So we have it written in the law, you can rape Black women.
What a shame. I prefer Asians.
But we've never been a racist country. This goes beyond gaslighting, and it's rooted in psychological delusion. And I'm not seeking agreement from white people at all. I don't prioritize whiteness or white people in my work in that way.
But blacks have never been racist because they can't be according to woke law. This goes beyond gaslighting and it's rooted in a psychological delusion. And I'm not seeking agreement from black people at all. I don't prioritize blackness or black people in my work in that way.
So turn to your neighbor and say, as much as we want to talk about how bad anti-Blackness is, it is the foundation of all American, all white American institutions.
So turn to your neighbor and say out loud, as much as we want to talk about how bad anti-whiteness is, it is the foundation of modern day America and all Black American institutions.
We then get to Ron DeSantis. He says, in Florida, we're taking a stand against the state-sanctioned racism that is critical race theory. We won't allow Florida tax dollars to be spent teaching kids to hate our country or hate each other, only to hate Black people. We will invest dollars in that.
We then get to Alvin Bragg and Letitia James and Fannie Willis, who promised that in their jurisdictions they would remove the blindfold from Lady Justice and prosecute anyone who they dislike. A principle Black stand in accordance to critical race theory that they've been taught. And we will use your tax dollars in doing so.
I think whites are psychopathic. I think there are many lies, the level of lying that white people do that has started since colonialism, we're just used to it.
I think blacks are psychopathic. There are many lies that have been told. The amount of lying that Black people do has started since the African chieftains used to sell members of other African tribes to the Portuguese, and those who they couldn't sell, they just enslaved themselves.
Teenagers, young people that are going out and committing home invasions and hitting women over the head with objects and stealing their purses. I want you to just say that's just human nature.
You know, all those black teenagers that are going out there and hitting people over the head and stealing from them, or just hitting them because they're Asians and then blaming it on white supremacy. Well, that's just black nature. I want you to excuse this and say that's just black nature. It's just the black way of life. Am I right?
And if you're sitting here, you're going, wow, he sounds really pro-black. I am.
And if you're sitting here saying to yourself, wow, he sounds really pro-white, oh, hell's up. I absolutely am.
And for all you white people who are unwilling to admit that you're pro-white, you're just not saying it.
And for all of you black people out there that won't admit that you're just pro-black and you're tribeless and you just want to divide the country along racial lines and dip into the taxpayer dollar and say we owe this, well, you are, and you're just not saying this.
What would you say for folks who may say that your work is considered to be reverse racism?
I don't make room for that.
Well, to paraphrase the great Damon Wayans, Homer don't play that. So y'all just go ahead and leave in the comments section what y'all think. Which one of us was more racist? Him or me imitating my great-great-grandpappy Nathan Bedford Forrest? I think that that's pretty much a tie, but y'all break it. Let me know in the comments. Peace.